remember that they're changing my voice. They're not only trying to make it so I sound gay, they're also kind of cutting in with some kind of weird kind of noise in my videos. With that being said, in regards to the situation in Oakland, which it comes up a lot on YouTube and in my various feeds on various sites, okay, the answer here is simple, right? You need to pass a 1 trillion redistribution plan, right? Say there's $70 trillion dollars stored up with people who are worth $3 million or more, okay? That's 1 trillion. That means they have 70 million. They only redistribute 1 million, and say over 10 years or 20 years, okay? That's not the end of the world, right? It can certainly be done in 10 years. And then you build a lot of tiny homes and conostegas, what have you, and you also pass job programs and food programs to make sure everyone gets fed. So there should be farm purchases, more food, maybe more money for food stamps, whatever's logical in that regard, whatever's the most effective way. It's probably just to grow it yourself and distribute it and skip the kind of middleman and so on and so forth. Okay. Then the job programs, some of these are temp job programs. You work 3-4 hours, and you get $40, $50 in cash, and they pay the taxes for you, right? Okay, so they came out with a law where they said they're going to pay fast food workers $20 an hour. So maybe a bunch of fast food chains, okay, wouldn't hurt them to hire some of these people for 4 hours at a time, then just cash them out, right? They're better off doing that than breaking into someone's home, taking a bunch of stuff and then selling it, right? And risking going to jail, for a serious felony. And these people do go to prison for these things, right? Just because they get no bail release at times, I don't know what the rule is right now, but at times at least there was no bail release, doesn't mean they're not going to prison. They are, okay? People who argue that, hey, these guys rape someone or kill somebody or da-da-da, and the cops don't even bother. They don't know what they're talking about. That's for car break-ins, right? That's for petty thefts to a large degree. That's for things that aren't that important. They should be responding. They need to hire more police officers. And that's a video for another day, right? So the solution has to do with hiring more police officers, has to do with job programs, food programs, tiny homes programs. When you look at the infrastructure plan, why didn't they just attach another, $50 billion, and they could take their, they could build tiny homes for $30,000 each plus land purchases. But if they couldn't do that because they're so corrupt, they could do it for, with the land purchase included, mind you, they could do it for $50,000. You could build 1 million tiny homes for $50,000, which includes land purchases, but they should be able to do it for 30. When think about the price for, a Mercedes. So if you buy a plot of land for like $1 million, or $800,000, we'll say, in a small town, has 8 to 10 acres, and you put 100 tiny homes there, okay, why should it cost $22,000 for a tiny home? Okay, why should it cost $42,000? You can get like a new Mercedes for $42,000. What do you think is worth more? What do you think has more value? What do you think has parts that are more expensive? A brand new Mercedes that costs $42,000, okay, or a tiny house with running water and AC. I mean, this is a brick house, a wooden house. You can get a tiny wooden house from Home Depot or something for like $13,000, $14,000, $15,000. Okay, it's just one that's more durable, with a shower and a sink. I mean, this is not rocket science here. If you do these things, these crimes don't happen. So when the government doesn't do these things, it's saying that it's sadistic. You spent like over $1 trillion, if I'm not mistaken, on, what's it called here? The infrastructure plan. I think in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, you spent 1.19 trillion on welfare. You couldn't have added, a mere 50 billion more. Okay. That would make it $1.24 trillion, right? Instead of 1.19, you could have spent 1.24 and got ahead of homelessness once and for all, and saved all these cities and all these counties tons of money when it comes to, putting people in hotels and stuff like this. They couldn't have done this. They could have done this easily. I mean, think about it. They spent 1.19 trillion on welfare. Why not spend another 50 billion more? And then while you're doing all the other stuff you're spending the welfare money on, build these tiny homes. They didn't do that because they're sadistic. Okay? The government that can afford 1.19 trillion, that borrows money and prints money all the time, can afford another 50 billion. And they could also tax the rich for that, easily. Money is like pocket money to them. There's 22.5 million millionaires and billionaires in this country. There's no excuse. If the Republican Party refuses to consider it, there's a reason why their color is red, because it's the principles of evil. Okay? And the Democratic Party refuses. There's a reason why there's an absence of yellow for the sun, for righteousness, son of righteousness, Malachi, because they're not doing the precisely right thing. And there's a reason why their symbol is a donkey, because they're spending money ineffectively, and it affects everybody in this country, including their constituents, including immigrants, including minorities, including white people on the left, you name it. So these are solutions. And yes, when you look at my position of authority that I'm supposed to have, why they're suppressing me, if they didn't suppress me, these things would have been passed a long time ago. I would have passed this plan like 5 years old kind of thing. This is something that would have been done. Okay? There would not be any homelessness in this country or any hunger if I was in charge at 5 years old. That's how bad this is. I'm now 42 years old. There's no excuse for this. I'm very disappointed, very angry that society plays stupid. And when I look at who's to blame here, okay? Remember, I'm part white. I'm not racist. It is impossible to miss the cultural implications here. The groupings, right? The politicians, corrupt, can't be trusted. Governing class can't be trusted. The royals of England can't be trusted so much that they're not even in charge of their own country. And there's some people who play the Da Vinci Code role-playing sex cult game, okay? They can't be trusted. The Jewish internationalist businessmen, okay, where are they? Why aren't they using their money to make sure that homelessness ends in America? They can't be trusted. The Business Roundtable can't be trusted. AIPAC, Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, the churches. Why aren't these people coming together and saying, this is the plan? If you don't have the courage to do so, you don't have the leadership quality to lead. And as we see generations of this failure, it is impossible to miss that I'm 100% right, that I am Christ. And you would have to look to black people, because that's who goes beyond Martin Luther King historically. No one else does. You look, do you pick grapes from thistles and thorn bushes? And I like a lot of different types of people historically. I like Asians, I like Hispanics, I have white friends. My ex-fiance is white. On and on, her child, I cared about her child. She had a child when we had a relationship. Okay? I'm not racist. I did not persecute gays growing up. I've eaten at a gay person's house with my friend and his girlfriend. They were an acquaintance. It wasn't a double date. Get that through your head. It was not a double date. But, I have a high approval rating from the LGBT community when it comes to poor LGBT people. They respect what I'm doing. I'm not racist. But we should know who's reliable and who isn't. You know them by their works. You know them by what groups, what they've attached themselves to, what they yoke themselves to. Why are you in cultures that can't be trusted? Because you're someone that can't be trusted. You see what I'm saying? So as we see them trying to stigmatize black people, it's impossible to miss that. They went way out of their way to make sure black people are criminals, kicking in doors, robbing stores, getting whooped on at 7-Eleven. Okay, trying to make them look bad as they can, like way worse than the black faces thing, with the psycho circus face paint mocking them. Way worse than that. Who the hell actually looks bad to the insightful and careful observer? It is the oppressor. And as he's doing it for his race, you tell me, what do you think of his race after that? No offense to anybody, but let's look at what's fair and just and right. Why aren't white people in mass saying it's not right to do that to black people and demanding the war on poverty plan, demanding the $5 trillion redistribution plan, or the 2.5, or the 1, or the $5 a month for less than millionaires and $200 a month for millionaires plus the vice taxes? Why aren't they demanding these things? Because their spirit is more. Rome is more scrambled. Greed and Greek, geek and Greek, greed and Greek. Why are these words similar? Ask the Mason. He talks about wordplay. Ask the occult guy, occult cut-ups, wordplay, lexicon, etymology, linguistics. Why is it like this? Why do you think this is what's best for your children? Why do you think your spirits are best for your children? You think little kids should get raped? And people should die in the streets homeless? You think people should starve? You think crime should happen? People get raped and shot and killed and beat and tortured? Why are you so sadistic? Why won't you people stop?